Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to try and talk quick because there are people here that can answer all of the questions that have been thrown and hurled on me over the past couple weeks with respect to the storm, garbage pickup, etc. We do have an overflow. So because of that, on the rules, we're going to ask that you put your question on the card. Please put your question on the card. Later we'll try and get this to be streamed on the video. So if you want to look at it later or tell other people about what happened today, that will also be available. But put your question on the card. Yeah, just have your hand up and we'll send some cards over your way. They're going to go through a brief presentation. Then they'll be answering the questions based on the card. We're going to try to accommodate some of the people out. So if your issue has been answered or satisfied, please, if you can, make room for someone else who may be standing out there. Is that all right? I will be here till the end. So if you want to see me and talk to me one-on-one, that is fine. I'll be around. If it's a question that deals with something not related to the flood, the storm, picking up the tree limbs, etc., the deep tunnel project with Commissioner Avila or FEMA, who was also here, please reserve those questions to another time. We sent you out, I asked you to sign our sign-in sheet so we can let you know about the other town hall meetings that we have that go on through the ward all throughout the year. And a lot of these people have been here before. And so to many of you, they may not be new, but to some of you all, they are. You're welcome to come out to any of those meetings. And again, I want to thank you for being here.
Okay, here we go. We're going to make the presentations first. We're going to have Jose Santiago.
My name is Jose Santiago. I am the Executive Director of OEMC, Office of Emergency Management and Communication. My job is to constantly watch the city on any type of, whether it be natural disaster or a man-made disaster, terrorist or whatever, or a storm. All right. So I constantly watch. I'm the guy who pulls the alarm when the sirens go off and stuff. So I watch the city 24/7. Trust me, I don't get a lot of sleep. Got a great staff that helps me out, but that staff, as soon as the storm was coming towards our way, we start doing our homework. We pull out all the paperwork and everything. We prepare for every storm as a disaster. We don't take any chances. When this particular storm came, we watched it carefully, watched it closely, and it came down hard and it started knocking down trees. Everybody remembers that. It came down, a lot of wind. Followed by that came rain. As we got the reports from the streets, the amount of damage started to toll. As you know, wires were down, trees were down. I looked at it and I said, well, from here, from Chicago's standpoint, it's looking like a disaster because we have everybody out working, everyone's trying to pick up trees. We need to clear the streets, in other words, so we can get the fire trucks, ambulances, police cars up and down the streets. Priority one, open the streets, get the power back so we can get in there where the people are at. At the same time, we're looking at the rules that have to take place in order to declare a disaster. The whole time. There is a money figure involved with that. We also have to be overwhelmed. The city of Chicago has to have entire resources on the street trying to open the streets, get the poles back up, and get people back in their homes. So as that is going on, we're tabulating the cost. There is a threshold that has to be met. But we don't know what's happening in the rest of the county. There is a county threshold. A certain amount of money must be reached in damage. All right, so we're watching it. We have people calling in. We're calling aldermen. We're calling everybody. What is happening in your ward? What is happening here? Real close look, police and fire getting our reports. At that time, a lot of trees down, a lot of lines. I decided to go ahead. Let's take a look at the proclamation process. And that's what it is. It's a proclamation, not a declaration. A proclamation from the city of Chicago. At that time, I made notification to the mayor. I think we have a lot of damage, and I think we're getting a lot of water. I don't know how much water is in there, but I'll start doing the paperwork. So, we have not reached the threshold, even to this day, we have not reached the threshold on the amount of money that gets us into that category. But we went ahead. We always have to think in the best interest of our citizens in Chicago. So that's why I went ahead, started filling out the proclamation, had my people go ahead, let's go to the mayor, let's put a proclamation. In the event this starts to escalate, and we did it very early. We started putting our numbers back together. As you will realize it, and if you remember, we had 3 different storms that came through. And we wanted to make sure that we got all 3 of them accounted for. And we started putting our heads together and collecting all the data, more importantly, how much damage. During that process, we were overwhelmed. We sent all our resources out to pick up the trees and stuff, to the point where I had to make a phone call to Cook County and ask for help. And county came in with people to help us pick up and open the streets. We were still overwhelmed. My next thing was to call the state. This is called in-kind services. They came out with their gear and helped us open up the streets because we were concerned about the emergency vehicles not being able to get to people. Fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars. All right? All this is going on. We're still counting the amount of damage we have. We went ahead, filled out the proclamation, approached the mayor, could you please sign it? In the event a declaration is called, we will be eligible for state and federal funds. That's what the whole deal is about. That's why we're watching it closely. We were in sync every day with our state officials, AEMA, FEMA, calling them up there, making sure we were following all the rules and that we met all the different criteria marks and goals and stuff so we can get there. And I will tell you right now, we have watched it closely. The figure of cost is $17,300,000 or $300,000. That's a large number. We're nowhere near that number. I'll be honest with you, but we still went ahead and filled out the proclamation for the best interest of our citizens, and we went ahead and did that. And we constantly talked to find out if there's anything out there, whether it would be city, county, state, or federal, any type of relief, anything that we can get our hands on to get that. And basically, there is nothing until there's a declaration. Let me explain the proclamation again. I go ahead, I fill out a proclamation just to make us eligible in the event there is something. This goes forward. I do a courtesy call to the Cook County, because Chicago is so large, I can go right to the state, but I do a courtesy communication with Cook County, and then we go to the state. They receive our proclamation, and now they're watching us. They've been helping us from day one, looking at everything, how we go ahead, fill it out, and everything like that. The next call, if the numbers were to be big enough, they would then move it up, as it goes up the chain to the governor, and then to FEMA, and then finally, the person who does the declaration is the President of the United States. We haven't, the proclamation has not left. And I'm telling you the straight story. It's $17 million worth of damage. We are not even halfway there. So I just want to clarify that. You understand how these are the rules that we have to follow. And we go ahead and we mark all those down. Now, before I start answering questions, everybody good over here? Anybody want to chime in real quickly? We're good? Now, we did have a flood in Albany Park, 2008. I just want to remember, I worked that flood. In the middle of the day, we gave the order to evacuate. You understand that? We gave a very large area. Go in, move the people out of their homes, relocate them to another place. That worked its way into a disaster.